Good morning. Today's session will be looking at the promise, two oceans, the promise of North and South multimodal transport corridor. And I am joined by Varali from Department of Comparative Political Science, as well as Alexandra from International Relations, School of International Relations in Petersburg. Just to start in the briefing, we are in the era of global supply chain that are being redrawn, as well as strategic trade routes that are being reimagined. The intermodal North and South corridor represent a bold future idea to connect Russia, ports, as well as Indian Western coastal and through the sea, rail, as well as a road network via Iran and Central Asia. If this project is realized, it could reshape the Eurasian trade by cutting transport time as well as cost, yet we are faced by geopolitical infrastructure as well as coordinated challenges. Today, as you are here to bring us an insight and how is this going to shape out? So on the understanding of the project side, what exactly is the North-South multimodal transport corridor? Is there a shared understanding of its goal among the state participants? Yes, over to you.
May I answer?
Yes,
thank you very much for this question. You're right, we still lacking some integrated understanding of this multimodal transport corridor. And let me start from the history of the very project. In 1999, a number of Russian, Indian, and Iranian cargo companies signed an agreement on establishing a multimodal transport corridor for shipping goods from the north to the south and the way back. And the backbone of this transport corridor should be rail, but also highways should be used and sea lines. This ambitious project, of course, needed some construction because some links are missing between different special rail system. But Valery will talk about this in detail. Next year, 2000, intergovernmental agreement was signed between Russia, Iran, and India. Initially, it was planned that all construction works will be over by the beginning of the next decade, 2010, something like that. But in reality, it didn't happen. And again, Valery will cover this issue in detail. Currently, we have three different transport corridors within the whole idea. The first corridor, the so-called Western corridor, which goes from Russia to the south via Azerbaijan, to Iran, to the Iranian seaports, and then to India. This corridor is functioning only partially because there's a missing link between Azerbaijan and the Iranian rail. And for that reason, there's the second rail transport corridor from Russia via Kazakhstan and Turkmenistan and partially Uzbekistan. And this corridor functions a bit better than the Western corridor, but still the capacity of this rail is not enough. And then the third route, which is includes the sea component from Russian ports on the coast of the Caspian Sea to the Iranian Caspian Sea ports. So that's how this project looks like right now.
Thank you so much for that insight. Now, since you have highlighted the goal of the project, I want to take to the implementation challenges. What are the key political or infrastructure barriers that are currently preventing this particular implementation of the project? Thank you. Over to you.
Yes. As Alexander said, the North-South International Transport Corridor is one of the largest infrastructure projects in all Eurasia. But the implementation goes very slowly, and after 20 years, cargo traffic reached only 20 million tons. So the project faces a number of challenges, and I would like to comment very briefly. First, there are significant geopolitical tensions that hamper stability along the transport corridor. They include contradictions between, for example, Azerbaijan and Iran at the regional level. And if you see the route through Afghanistan and Pakistan to India is shorter than through Turkmenistan and Iran, but we have contradictions between India and Pakistan, and this prevents realization of such a project. At the global level, we have tensions between the United States from one side and Iran and Russia from the other side. Second risk, it's American sanctions. They have significant impact on the project. Imposed sanctions made it difficult to get some long-term investment from abroad. And cooperation is hampered by growing confrontation in international relations. And India is also facing a difficult choice because it wants to escape American sanctions from one side, and from the other side get benefit from cooperation with Russia and Iran. And for example, in 2025, the United States reversed its decision to lift sanctions on the Chabahar project, which is a part of the North-South International Transport Corridor. Meanwhile, and now India's involvement in the modernization of this port is in question. At the same time, in 2024, India signed a 10 years contract for the management of this port. And additionally, according to this agreement, India must invest $120 million in this port and provide a loan more than $250 million. Third risk, substantial investment are needed to implement all the project. It's especially true for Iran. But there is no consensus among partners on how and on what terms to invest. And many countries just simply do not have enough financial resources to realize this project. And often each participant is primarily interested in reducing its expenses and maximizing profits. The fourth risk is that the volume of transportation is limited by the underdeveloped infrastructure. There are no enough railways in Iran, for example. Cargo transfer points are not ready to handle large amount of cargo flows. And Iran's seaports also need serious modernization. And for example, border crossing along the entire transport corridor also have very low capacity. And if we keep in mind the Trans-Caspian branch, the cargo fleets of Russia and Iran are largely outdated. However, India is building about 24 vessels, including tankers and container ships ordered by Russia. Another problem, is related to the design of digital platform for coordinating transportation and reducing time for custom procedures. And Russia has experience in this field because it's creating a digital platform to control all types of transport inside Russia. But this problem has also, it is not only digital technology, but also some organizational problem because it's necessary to establish a unified transport operator to manage passage from of cargo from initial point to destination. And in addition, it should be noted that railway network from Russia to India, if you look at the eastern branch, it should be designed on Russian standard, otherwise it will be impossible. And finally, there are some natural difficulties that increase the cost of the project. For example, Caspian Sea is in a cycle of periodic shallowing, and every year coastline recedes about 20 centimeters. As a result, the cost of dredging is increasing. The reverse process, the deepening of the Caspian Sea, will begin only by 2030, according to scientific estimations. So these are main challenges.
Thank you so much for that insightful contribution. Now that you have laid out some of the challenges, your infrastructure issues, issue of sanctions, as well as contradictions among the states, looking now at the feasibility outlook of it, also given today's regional and global context, how feasible it is that we'll see this corridor being operational in the near future. Can you take us through?
Yeah, thank you very much. I'd rather be on the pessimistic side of it. Because the problems which Valery mentioned earlier, they need a solution for years and years. There couldn't be an immediate solution to any of these problems, neither geopolitical, nor economic or technical, infrastructural, or logistical. Look at, for example, at the problem of a missing link between the rail station or the border between Azerbaijan and Iran, Astara, and the Iranian train station in Rasht. It's just quite a short distance between them. It's 165 kilometers. But it's still there. I mean, the gap is still there. Yes. People are talking about construction of a rail between these stations for almost 25 years. And only last year, the Russians signed a contract with the Iranian government to finance this project. But in the best and optimistic scenario of it, it will be ended or will be over by 2028. From 3 years from now. That's just only one problem of that kind. Look at, for example, another problem which Valery mentioned, the lack of capacity, cargo capacity for the Iranian ports, not only in the Indian Ocean, or the Iranian coast in the Indian Ocean, but also in the Caspian Sea. They're quite small ports, quite small harbors. They lack special terminals to reload containers from ships coming from Russia, for example, or from Central Asian countries via the Caspian Sea to the Iranian ports. So a lot of work should be done by the Iranian side to renovate or to adapt, to modernize these ports for the cargo flows. So I think that the goal which the partners have to increase the volume of cargo from 20 and something million ton a year to 30 million ton a year by 2030, I'm not sure that's realistic.
Thank you for that. It was very insightful, also giving some hope regardless of the challenges that we are given. Over to you, any additions?
I would like to add some spoon of optimism to barrel of pessimism.
Yes.
So this transport corridor is very important as alternative to Suez Canal to ensure uninterrupted delivery of supplies from Asia to Europe. And this transport corridor in future can connect meridian and latitudinal transport corridors of Eurasia. And the most important thing for implementation of the project today is the understanding that the North-South corridor will gain economic advantages over other routes if all participants agree on a stable tariff along the corridor and high speed of delivery. And if this becomes the main strategic objective of the participants, it will be possible to overcome all other difficulties that we are discussing. And some kind of progress can be seen, for example, the railways of Russia, Kazakhstan, and Turkmenistan have introduced discounts from 20 to 50% for cross-border transportation. And second point, Russia and Azerbaijan have signed an agreement that Russia will guarantee the volume of transportation, and Azerbaijan, from the other side, is modernizing the railways. So we have some signals for optimism also.
Thank you for that. We have just a few minutes left. I don't know if you've got any last words in terms of what we discussed, any closing that will also give more permistic in this project as well. Thank you.
Maybe Valerie is right that the eastern route of this transport corridor is more promising because there's an agreement on the geopolitical level between Russia, Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, and Iran. But recent difficulties, tensions between Russia and Azerbaijan, they cast doubt on the western route. I mean, the geopolitical situation along the western route is not very stable and sometimes unpredictable. So maybe the eastern option is more promising.
More promise. Thank you for that. The discussion today is talking about north and south transport corridor. It's more than just a logistic project. It's a symbol of regional cooperation and connectivity that will link shared ambition towards all the countries that are involved. Thank you so much for this discussion today. Thank you.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you.